Okay, we will bring this regular council meeting to order for May 23rd, and I will ask for Councillor Harrison to please read the land acknowledgement.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. The town of Innisfail acknowledges that we are meeting on Treaty 7 territory, the ancestral and traditional territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Kainai, Piikani, Siksika, as well as the Tsuut'ina First Nation and Stoney Nakoda First Nation. We acknowledge that this territory is home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3, within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. We acknowledge that many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who have lived in and cared for these lands for generations. We are grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today and those who have gone before us. We make this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation and gratitude to those whose territory we reside on.
Okay, thank you. And I'll ask, I guess, Manager Shaw or Director Jenkins to introduce a new staff member to us, please.
All right. Yes, so we have our new municipal planning intern, Pallavi Singh, who's joining us. This is, what, day 5, 6? So, so Pallavi recently completed her master's at the U of C. Yeah, and we're happy to have her.
Okay, welcome. We're very happy that you're with us. Okay, we will move into 2.1, additions or deletions to the agenda. Nothing. Could I please have someone make a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
Taking Cindy's place, I'll also move.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Bates. All in favor? Okay, and we'll go into 3.1, the regular council meeting minutes for May the 8th. When you're ready, I'll have somebody please make a motion to approve those minutes. Councillor Dunham.
Mayor Barclay, I'll make that motion.
Okay, any discussion changes on those? All in favor? Okay, carried. And we'll move into May 15th, agenda and priority meeting minutes. Councillor Wing.
Yes, Mayor Barclay, I would move that we adopt those minutes.
Great, thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. And we will move into 4.1 and our CAO report.
Thanks, Mayor Barclay. Hello, Council. Just to be brief on the CAO report, the last couple of weeks have been quite busy with engagements. There are a few here for your consideration. Just kind of highlight what I've been up to. Also attached is the heliport grand opening itinerary for your review. Finer details are captured within those boxes. And that's for Director Kennedy. The list of the delegates invited will be released to you through an email, just so you can see who's present, being invited, and who's confirmed. So if you have any questions on through the director, certainly fire those over to Stephen. And focus areas has been over the last couple of weeks to include the hub engagements, include the environmental waste heat communications plan, the regional police committee discussions, industrial subdivision planning, and of course your strategic priorities, which you'll see the results of that in the near future. So if there's any questions, Council.
All right, thank you. Anybody have any questions for CEO Becker? Okay, can I please have someone make a motion to accept his report then? Councillor Harrison.
I'd so move that we accept the CAO's report as information.
Thank you, Councillor Harrison. All in favor? Okay, carried. And we'll move into 4.2, the Council Action Control. If there's any questions about anything on here, just get you to scroll down maybe. Thank you. Okay, can I please have someone make a motion? Councillor Bates.
I move that we accept the action control for information.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. We'll move into 4.3, Innisfail Chamber of Commerce with CEO Becker.
Thank you. So back in February, administration received a request from the Chamber looking for town assistance in 4 different areas. One, for some money to assist in the development of a strategic plan for the Chamber. Request was for $10,000, which does not highlight that in this report. To provide repairs of the Chamber office, assistance with grants, and review of the highway electronic sign business case. So the responses from 2, 3, and 4 for the chamber office has been dealt with through administration. So we have created a connection for any landlord type of responsibilities, working with their executive director. Assistance with grants, we're unable to provide resourcing to research and provide grant support, although if grants come in that could impact the chamber, we certainly would circulate that to the chamber. And also, once the chamber is complete with their electronic sign business case, we'll likely get a copy of that for review and feedback. So the response from the town after the February meeting was that we're going to wait for a response with the Northern and Regional Economic Program grant application. The town did receive notice that partial funding was provided. Council was made aware of that last council meeting. Administration, in our internal discussions, were able to find a few dollars, certainly use the dollars of the budget, so the 2023 budget, but if council has a desire to provide some dollars, not likely providing the $10,000, but could make room within the work plan to accommodate $5,000 from the 2023 economic development budget from contracted services. So I'll leave it for you, council, to determine how you wish to proceed and if there's any questions.
All right, thank you, CEO Becker. Open it up for discussion. Councillor Harrison, Councillor Dunham, your light's on. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. Just one question. If we determine that the 5,000 is going to come from the town, the other 5,000, does the chamber have the funds to contribute the other half of the grant? I guess that's...
Mayor Barkley, Councillor Harrison, I did request the financials. I've yet to receive them, and I misplaced my request till this morning. I have not followed up for their financials. My intent was to have those financials to you today, in which I don't have that for you.
So would it be premature if we approve the 5,000 today without seeing where the other 5,000 is going to come from?
That, Councillor Harrison, or adjustment to the scope of their project to accommodate $5,000
Oh, okay.
of strategic planning.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, I guess my question would be, doing a strategic plan for an external organization, are we opening up a pathway where other organizations are going to request the same thing? And I keep going back to our community economic development strategy. I think there's a lot of actions in there that are already laid out, and so I'm questioning this request and if it's really necessary with everything that's already been laid out and the work that is ongoing. But that's just from a external person looking from the outside in at the chamber at this point in time. And I concern, like, what about the historical village or the library? And we have so many nonprofits in this community. Are others going to come to us and want us to provide the same kind of funding for a strat plan? Councillor Wing?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. Just in response to your thoughts, the idea to work with Eric Burton and Factor 5 came up because of the work that's been done with the Power of Place and the places where the chamber has been identified in that plan. So I think the chamber board felt that it was just a logical progression to the Power of Place, but certainly had looked at Eric Burton just because of the work that he had done and the work that he has done with chambers in the past in his career. So, I mean, I certainly understand and agree that, it may result in other conversations, but I think given the path, the parallel path that the town and the chamber are focusing on relative to the Power of Place, that's where the request came from, and I would support the request.
Councillor Bates?
So having heard those two comments, I guess the thing I wonder about is if the 5,000 isn't enough to do what the original strategic plan was conceived to be. I'm not sure of the timeline, but should we not be understanding what type of strategic plan would be provided for 5,000 before we approve it? Because I'm hearing it's not what was, that the original was 10. And again, do we know the timeline, I guess is a sub-question. of when that would happen, or do we get to see what that strategic plan components might be? And then the fourth item that was on there was reviewing the electronic sign business case. I'm assuming there's going to be an ask in that. I'm wondering. Just see it kind of piecemeal.
I'm wondering, CEO Becker, if you could reach out and maybe get some more information around that, or maybe have the executive director come and meet, like agenda and priorities meeting or something, and where we can discuss this, and so we'd have more detail on that, or?
Is that directive of Mayor Barkley to invite the
Well,
executive director
I don't
or
know.
chamber representatives to come in to speak to council?
I'll ask council, I guess. I'm just curious if that would be a possibility, or if that's what we want. Councillor Dunham?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. Yeah, I mean, obviously, for me, my perception is that the working relationship between the chamber and the town is unique amongst our relationships, or the town's relationships in the community, but I personally would feel much more comfortable having a little bit more information and an opportunity to ask a few more questions before going forward with this.
Would you like a motion?
Yes, please. So, council, if you wish to invite chamber representatives to come in, just, put that in a motion, unless you have specific questions you want asked prior, but, so either one, just in a motion would be appropriate.
Okay. Would we, I guess my question, would we just ask for the executive to come, or would we be asking for the chair to come as well to answer? Would it be a single or two?
Yeah, I think the chamber would be in the best position to know who should come.
Okay.
To speak to the council's questions.
Okay. Then I'm comfortable putting forward a motion that we invite the chamber to bring forth a representative at our next A&P meeting, or whenever is convenient for them.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Councillor Bates?
Yeah, just before we vote, I guess, so one of the components then I would like to hear would be, what is the modified version? Like, is it 7,000 and the chamber's putting in 2, and not just the dollars, but kind of what it is?
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion? Okay, opposed? Okay, carried, thank you. And we will move on to 5.1, the labor market research report with Manager Shaw.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Before you have a report that deals with research that we have been doing through the Community Economic Development Committee. This one deals with a labor market research so that we have a better understanding of our labor market. It's kind of like a base type of report that will help us to understand our community economic development a little bit better from the standpoint of labor. And it serves as a foundation document as we move forward to begin development of a separate entity for economic development within the community. So we had asked Factor 5 to take a look at this particular element. It's an element through the Power of Place strategy as one of the tactics that was identified as something that was needed by the town for consideration. And so it does provide a fairly detailed type of analysis. And I guess the page that I want to focus on the most is probably page 47 from the standpoint of your agenda package. This looks at the labor force historical from 2006 to 2021 based on each census period. So you can see that from a median age, we are increasing in our labor force age from 2006 when we were 40.1 up to 2021 when we were 46.5. So we are actually if not the oldest median age for communities in our area, certainly one of the top two. You can see that our emerging labor force, the 15 to 24-year-olds, there's been some rebound from 2011 and 2016, but it's still, it's a little bit better than it was in 2006. But our primary labor force, the 25 to 64-year-olds, has decreased from the last two census to be 78.4%, and is now showing to be the lowest in the last four census periods. And then you can also see that the mature labor force is kind of decreasing as well as increasing from 2006. Our peak was in 2016 when we were 25.8%, and we're now at 20.9%. Participation rate, now 2021 obviously was quite a diverse type of year because of COVID and whatnot. But you can see that that rate has been declining since 2006. The employment rate shows at 54% compared to 58.4% in 2006. The unemployment rate, 11.1 compared to 9.2%. So you can see that this is something that we'll need to address in the future in terms of trying to create circumstances where the community is attractive to families and to others who want to call Innisfail home. The research that's provided in the report will also serve to be base information for our municipal development plan, most likely in our economic section under that plan. So what I'm asking from you today is that you accept this labor market research report as information. And then as we go through the community economic development strategy, you'll see more and more of this being in place through future studies, but also within the municipal development plan too.
Okay, thank you, Manager Shaw. Does anyone have any questions for Manager Shaw about this? I think it's very interesting. We saw it at the CED meeting this past month. And Councillor Bates?
One question I have is, and I realize this is just a collection of information, but it was interesting to me to read that a lot of the young folks are embarking on university training and college training and whatever that isn't in the needs factor to the ratio that some of the other jobs are. Is there any that we are aware of? Is there any government recognition of that and steerage to try and change that? Or even at the universities and the Polytechnic, do they grasp these numbers and start to try to encourage people to head down the paths of where the needs are?
So Mayor and Council, CAPE actually took a look at workforce development back in 2021, 2022. They have provided a series of recommendations, and one of those was being able to get employers and institutions together to kind of make sure that the studies that are being offered are more tailored to the needs of the region in terms of trades and other types of educational requirements that we're going to need in the future, and to be able to try to encourage people to be able to go into those particular trades or disciplines that are going to be needed, so that they have the skills and abilities to be able to move into jobs that are going to become vacant as baby boomers retire or migrate away from the community and the region.
Yeah, I guess that's the question I'm asking, and to me it almost, and it's not our job, but To me, it's almost, the target almost is back into grade school, I think, to tell, as people are trying to figure out what they're going to do in their future, to tell them where the most openings are and needs are. Again, that's not our job, but
I would say,
would hope.
Councillor Bates, that the recent formation of the Collegiate Institute here in Central Alberta between Olds College, RDP, and the school boards is probably a basis for that. And I think going in and having a visit with principal at Innisfail High School, I mean, they're very in tune with, introducing careers and focusing on certain things. And so I hear what you're
Okay,
saying,
no.
like, agree, for sure. And maybe that, at some point in time, that might be, I don't know who the spokesperson would be, but that might be a great representative to come in and speak with about that new institute that's been formed. And I don't know whether if there's a board or something, but I think it'd be really interesting to learn more about that. And I know Principal Chris Henderson spoke about that quite a bit when we met with him, so.
yeah, no, I was just curious. Like I say, I don't see a role necessarily for us, but obviously if the right hand doesn't exactly know what the left hand's doing, it would sure be good if they got together. Thank you.
That never happens. Any further questions? No, please have someone make a motion that we accept the labor market research report as information. Councillor Dunham?
Barclay, I'll make that motion.
Okay, perfect. All in favor? Okay, carried. All right, we'll go into 5.2 with the Innisfail Energy Hub with Manager Shaw.
And so, Mayor and Council, you're aware that the Innisfail Energy Hub has been in existence for a while now. And we had a lot of great dialogue with the Energy Futures representatives in terms of putting together ideas about what does energy look like within our community and within our region. So Council as well as administration had worked with those representatives to develop certain initiatives that could help to be able to communicate more about energy and energy transition over the next 15 to 30 years. So there were a number of initiatives that were identified to help shape our economic development and energy futures pathways, probably within the next 12 to 24 months or so. And so those included conducting Innisfail community conversations, youth energy education, government relations strategy, Innisfail hydrogen strategy, energy futures trade show, as well as at one of the last workshops that we had, there was a regional vision for intermunicipal energy collaboration, understanding the regulated utilities, guiding principles for the Energy Hub itself, and Innisfail Energy Hub Action Plan. So those were boiled down to what you see on page 79 of the agenda package in terms of the initiatives. So you have the community conversations, of which we've had a couple so far, the youth energy education, there's the Innisfail hydrogen strategy, the Energy Futures trade show, the regional vision for intermunicipal energy collaboration, understanding the regulated utilities and guiding principles for the Innisfail Energy Hub, and also that Innisfail Energy Hub Action Plan. So there's a timetable. It's estimated at this time it can certainly be quite fluid depending upon resources that are available to administration as well as to council, and then a series of actions and outcomes predicted for each of those initiatives. So today we're asking, in terms of the motions, that council includes the initiatives from the Innisfail Energy Hub into the mandate of the Community Economic Development Advisory Committee, for it to advise and provide guidance to council on energy initiatives. And then second, that council approves the Innisfail Energy Hub's work plan based on the initiatives outlined in the report.
Okay, thank you, Manager Shaw. Does anyone have any questions about this plan? No? Okay, then I please have someone make the first motion.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. I move that council includes the initiatives from the Innisfail Energy Hub into the mandate of the Community Economic Development Advisory Committee for it to advise and provide guidance to council on energy initiatives.
Okay, perfect. No questions, all in favor? Okay, carried. And then the second motion, please. Councillor Bates.
Sure, I move the council approves the Innisfail Energy Hub's work plan based on the initiatives outlined in this report.
Okay, thank you. Manager Shaw, is there anything scheduled coming up, like in the community conversations or any of the initiatives?
Mayor Barkley, planning for early fall, understanding utility bills. We have a few stakeholders we're going to reach out to provide that community education session. So maybe a conversation, but more education likely.
Okay. And anything in the youth? Well, but not till fall now, obviously.
Yes, we
Little
actually had a
busy.
meeting at St. Marg's last week, and we'll be following up. Probably late August, we'll sit and brainstorm. We're hoping to do potentially some sort of design thinking type of challenge across the campuses ideally, as well as maybe continue with the relay education, but maybe in the younger grades as well. They have a high school program that's more career focused, sort of giving an exploration of careers in that energy and green fields. So that's the plan for next year at this point.
Okay, perfect. Director Jake, was there any, I guess, follow-up, or would there be I don't remember the name of them now, but they were on the, with Sean Collins at one of the Innisfail Energy Hub conversations we had?
One of the experiences that
Yeah, she had the robotics and then there was the outdoor experience as well with.
yes, so we have followed up with the Howl experience. There's a local individual who participated in that program, which Kristen's been working to try to get some connections there with the schools. Not much on the robotics front. I did actually attend the competition they had in Red Deer, and it was quite impressive. So I think the key part of that is having a few mentors that can coach the teams. It's amazing what they do, but if we find some teachers or find some local enthusiasts, that would help be the brains around it. Because yeah, it was something I did not know occurred.
Yeah, I'm sure it'd be fun. Okay, so we have the second motion. All in favor? Okay, carried. And we'll move into 5.3 with Agritourism with Manager Shaw.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This next part deals with the Central Alberta Tourism Alliance Agritourism Development Strategy that has been prepared just a short time ago. Back in 2022, CATA had looked at tourism in general, but also from the standpoint specific tourism elements that might do well for the Central Alberta region, considering that we are scattered from the mountains to the plains, so to speak. So how do you come up with a tourism strategy that might be able to fit all of those different elements? So we looked at agritourism as a possibility, and so that can include like food from the farm to the plate kind of thing, or your different brewery tours throughout Central Alberta, because there are quite a few within this region, or other types of initiatives that might be worthwhile to try to kind of bundle together to be able to get people to come to Central Alberta and to experience our agriculture. And it's not just from the standpoint of a farm, it can be from a U-pick type of operation, as I indicated, to establishing breweries or cheese manufacturers or that kind of thing. So we had a company take a look at the different things that were available within this region. They have come up with a number of thoughts about agritourism. So this was done by Expedition Management. They found that our strengths were the diversity that is available for agritourism within this region, the growing interest by the public in pursuing agritourism, large regional markets with easy access, strong agritourism operators. Growth areas could be mechanisms for stakeholder collaboration, the quantity of market-ready experiences, market awareness, operator capacity, and then they created a 10-year vision, which is outlined in the report. When you consider that on a annual basis, we as a town, we probably have about 100,000 visitors come through our community, or they attend activities within our community. So there's a lot of people coming into the community, and it pays to be aware of them, because from an economic development standpoint, how much they add value to our local economy. So this is one way that fits into the overall Power of Place strategy, from a tourism standpoint of helping to build the local economy. And the report that you have before you lays out a number of different initiatives. What we're asking for today from council is that you accept the information that's prepared in the report, but you also direct administration to implement its recommendation where our capacity and fiscal resources permit. The report itself doesn't commit town council or the town to following the initiatives outlined in it, but it does give us direction in terms of what we should be looking at from a local and regional standpoint.
Thank you, Manager Shaw. I absolutely love this. So my question is, like, where does Innisfail fit in this picture, and how do we be a leader in this initiative?
That's a very...
Everybody's looking at CEO Becker. It's like, there was a mention of the task force in the report. Like, are you part of that task force, or?
Mayor and council, the board members actually just received the report a very short time ago, and so we're still kind of in the discussion phases as to how do these recommendations fall out, what kind of action plan can be put together. So it might be another year before you see, absolute items coming out of this, that there are particular actions that can be undertaken by different municipalities, either individually or as a group type of thing. But it at least provides you with a foundation in terms of looking at how can we pivot tourism as a major contributor to our local economy. We know that we have a number of agritourism operations within our community, as well as tourism operations. How can we make that work more as a community and collaborate with operators and with ourselves and other stakeholders within the region?
So do you want to say something?
No?
I'm just curious if your plan would be to, I would say share this report with organizations like the Chamber, and like, is there opportunity for you, or maybe it's too early for you to meet like with local representatives around this and have a discussion? I think of Innisfail growers, of course, local foodies. Well, now he wants to say something.
Yes, now I do.
Okay.
It
wants
is
to stop me.
resource-based, and I certainly, it's a great report and a great effort. We're seeing some value of CATA, but it is resource. It's you know, we talked about that this morning in our SLT meeting, just on next steps with AgDev, which will be, you know, likely more of a budgetary conversation on the support of internal capacity to be able to address these important initiatives. So basically, we need resources, council and mayor, just to drive some of these initiatives. We're pretty skinny at the moment.
Okay. No, it's okay. No, I just think it's pretty awesome, this report, and I would also like to share it with CAPE as well, or have somebody share it with CAPE if it hasn't already.
And so, Mayor and Council, the first step is certainly to bring it forward to yourselves and for you to give it your blessing, and then we can move forward in terms of what kind of initiatives we can follow through on based on current capacity and resources, and then also to be able to have conversations with operators and others.
No, it sounds perfect, so have someone make the recommended motion, please.
Mayor Barkley, I move the council accepts the Central Alberta Agritourism Development Strategy prepared by the Expedition Management Consulting on behalf of the Central Alberta Tourism Alliance and directs administration to implement its recommendations where capacity and fiscal resources permit.
Any further comments? All in favor? Okay, thank you. Good luck. We'll move on to 5.4 Aquatic Center with Director Jenkins.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. So we're requesting funding from council today for the rebuild of the regenerative media filters within the whirlpool and the main pool at the Aquatic Center. So the Aquatic Center uses regenerative media filters for both pools, pool filtration run times, and the presence of filter media in the pool tanks. Initiated an investigation when the whirlpool was closed for a pump repair. It was found that the filter covers, cores, and associated parts have been damaged and are not functioning correctly, thus the media ending up in the pools. This was not a planned maintenance item, as covers were replaced less than 2 years ago, and previous covers had lasted over 5 years. The filter cores, however, are past their scheduled replacement and are beginning to crack. As similar issues of perlite being found within the main pool tank, we're recommending that both filters be addressed at this time. We did request quotes from 3 providers, with only Pinnacle Aquatic Group coming back with a quote for the replacement. The replacement cost being $44,893, with an estimated 12-week time to get the parts. The whirlpool may be able to be, it's been closed for probably close to a month at this point, but the whirlpool may be able to be operated in the interim time if we're able to fix some of the worst torn filters, possibly. And we did just have ballpark estimates from Pinnacle with if we were to replace the filters in their entirety with new sand filters, you'd be looking at $200,000 to $350,000. New regen filters would be $250,000 to $400,000 and would be 16 to 20 weeks for delivery. Due to the anticipation that a new pool would be constructed, at this point we would be looking to pursue just the rebuild of the existing filters. Todd gave me a heads up, probably going to be a warranty question as to the previous fix on the filters. So the brand of filter that we currently have at the pool, the company is no longer in business, so essentially they're trying to source parts as best they can from various people that still have them in inventory. But no, there's no warranty on the previous work. So the project cost, the request is to be funded from the general cap reserve. The pool reserve has been fully allocated to other projects to be completed in 2023. Those include the roof, entry doors, extension of the exhaust ventilation, and air conditioning for the lobby and party room. Yeah, so we're looking for a motion to move forward with that project.
All right, thank you, Director Jenkins. Would somebody like to make the motion? Councillor Wing.
Sure, Mayor Barclay, I would move that council approve the expenditure of $44,893.28 for the rebuild of the regenerative media filters for the main pool and whirlpool at the Aquatic Center, with Pinnacle Aquatics Group to be funded from the General Capital Reserve.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, Councillor Bates?
Yeah, just one. The mention of damage, is there any indication that something manual could have been done different to avoid that damage, or is there anything that?
No, that's not the indication, and so essentially it's a bunch of small filters that are socks, and they seem to be ripping, so I don't know if we had a bad batch the last time, but it is getting to the point where the full replace should occur.
Yep, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions? All in favor? All right, carried. Thank you. We'll move on to 6.1, correspondence. Is anybody going to the media event? Is that tomorrow? What's today, 23rd? Yes, tomorrow. Director Jenkins, are you going? To the Sylvan Lake Gulls? No. No, okay. Yeah, me too. Okay. All right, I'll please have someone make a motion to accept this as information.
I'll just make a comment and then make the motion.
sure.
The one item that I see there, the Municipal Leaders Caucus, those summer caucuses I think are good in the sense that they're very reasonably priced because they're in out same day, and unfortunately I can't attend that one because I think I have a water commission that day, but just recommend it to everybody else, and we'll make the motion that we accept the correspondence for information.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, if anybody wants to go to the summer caucus, please go. I can't go either. I have another commitment that day, but so we have a motion. All in favor? Okay, carried. You can just maybe let Juanita know if you'd like to go to the summer caucus out in Delburn. And then we'll move on to council reports, and we'll begin with Councillor Dunham today.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. Last week was very quiet. Had no council duties to say further than the A&P meeting on Monday.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Harrison?
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. I attended the RD Mug meeting in Drumheller on Thursday of last week, and it was a very interesting meeting. The executive has changed the structure of their meeting. They found that the executive members, which was basically the same as the directors, were hearing the same information in the afternoon that they heard in the morning. So they put it forth to the members about the executive committee being an actual governance committee and setting agenda and that kind of work, and then in the afternoon having the directors meeting, and that was passed by resolution. So that's going to happen. We spent about 2 hours going over the modeling that they've been doing. They just recently got the draft report from the water modeling on the Red Deer River, and it's not as good as what they thought it was going to be. So there was great discussion around how do we advocate with our politicians. Water is very important. As you see over the last 2 or 3 weeks in northern Alberta, a shortage. We're going into climate change, warming of temperatures, and water flow, quality and quantity are very important. So we're going to, or the executive is going to meet with the executive of the Watershed Alliance, the Red Deer Watershed Alliance, because they're the actual advocates for government. It's not RD Mug. RD Mug is a group of municipalities that have got together the common interest on the Red Deer River. We do have a voice because numbers speak. There's a lot of municipalities, but the official advocacy is with the Alliance. So they're going to meet both executives to scope out an action plan and how we can go forth. So more on that, that'll probably come out at the next meeting, but we haven't forgot about water, so it's good. There was a couple of other things that I don't know if I should bring them up now or should I wait to the round table discussion? Pardon? Well, then I'll bring them up now. Thank you, Mayor Barkley, for reminding me where I'm at. One of the things I've been approached by a couple of people regarding the shrubbery along the boardwalk at Dodds Lake. Those trees, they're poplar and aspen and willow, they grow very quickly, and it's taking away, there's a number of people that use that vista for photos, weddings, that kind of thing, and when you take your picture at a wedding, you don't want to see a bunch of trees in the background, you want to capture that vista. I looked at that yesterday, and maybe it's as simple as just having operations look at it and see how those trees can be trimmed up, or those shrubs, they're not actually trees. But it's just that area in front of the gazebo and down to the parking lot, and they're poplar, and so that would be good if someone could look at that and see what could be done. The second thing was, did we have any issues with flash flooding yesterday after that 2 inches of rain that we got in 20 minutes?
I don't think we've had any formal issue or complaints come in. We've had various items in regards to drainage on the back lanes, just gravel flowing out. But overall, yeah, they had 5 members out yesterday, kind of maintaining catch basins and just maintaining flow. So I think it was handled quite well.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all I had, Mayor Barkley.
All right, thank you very much. Councillor Wing?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. So last Tuesday, the Municipal Development Advisory Committee met. Work is progressing nicely on that very large project, so I'm happy with that. Later that evening, the provincial election forum was held at the Legion. The Green and Clean Challenge was in Centennial Park last Wednesday with council colleagues. Thursday was the interagency network meeting, and thanks to CAO Becker for requesting that the agenda focus on energy poverty. I thought it was a very enlightening presentation. Certainly lots of agencies in the room that would be experiencing the kinds of demands and problems from their own clients, but to see it from a bigger picture I think was really helpful, and I think everyone learned a lot. So thank you, CAO Becker, for that. And then just finally, I leave tomorrow morning for Toronto for the FCM conference, which starts Thursday and then runs till Sunday. So I'll be home Monday in time for A&P. God willing, and the WestJet pilots don't go on strike.
2 wishes. Councillor Bates?
Yeah, I hope they haven't sold your seat. So last week, I had Municipal Development Plan meeting. I did attend the forum as well. And I did my own green and clean slightly ahead of everybody else. Did I miss one? Jeez. I thought I'd done a pretty good job, but I did it early so that I could go watch 2 of my grandchildren sing in a pub in Calgary. And that was really good. I also attended the Municipal Interagency with the speaker from the Futures Lab, Jillian, and found it to be very interesting. As I think about energy, and when we referred to the Futures Lab and all the agendas and everything that we, one of the things, me personally, I'm going to ask admin by this fall sometime to give us a rundown on how our solar panels and the stuff that we've installed on Fire Hall and curling rink, et cetera, and any of the other, even if it's just, everything's up and running with furnace and water heater replacements, anything we've done, it would just be, I think, good to get a marker on the success of that. Councillor Harrison mentioned my rain gauge got half an inch in 10 minutes yesterday. That has to be a really good test for the town facilities. I would think that if you didn't hear a lot of complaints, that's a good testament. And this week, I intend to attend the staff barbecue and the police and safe community meeting. That's it.
All right, thank you. So did a trip to Airdrie last week with CEO Becker and Director Vickers down to see Mayor Brown and their CAO around waste to energy opportunities. Also dropped into Innisfail High School, and thanks to Director Vickers and Jenkins and crew that were there representing the town of Innisfail at Career Day at Innisfail High School. It looked really busy, which was great to see. Participated in the Green and Clean, and we picked up after Councillor Bates, of course, the things he missed. No, I'm just kidding. There was just one cigarette butt, that's all. We're good.
I have a bag at
I
home.
know. Okay, we're good. And was that interagency, good presentation on energy poverty last week. I always love going to interagency. Hadn't been for a long time, but it's always great to see all the organizations that are supporting Innisfail and people of Innisfail that need that support. Also had a Cape Board meeting this past Friday, so the board has approved. There's going to be a Alberta Advantage Delegation Summit. It will be August 21st to the 24th. There'll be about 40 participants coming from India. The Pomeroy in Olds will be the home base for this initiative, but I believe there's been meetings with CEOs in Central Alberta, and so we should have a delegation coming into this community one of those days. So I'll leave that with administration to continue on from there, but that should bode well for Innisfail. And yeah, hope to, I'll see everybody at the barbecue there, the luncheon at the shop tomorrow, and thank you to operations and all that they do for the town. And I know it's Public Works Week, so we will celebrate that for sure. So we will move on to, and I just wanted to say, I meant to say Councillor Maceras couldn't be here today. She left for Toronto for FCM yesterday, and she had a meeting with her other job in Toronto this afternoon, which is why she left early and isn't here today. She just wanted me to pass that on. We'll go to open mic. Does anybody have anything further to add? Director Jenkins or Vickers, do you want to say anything about the career day at Innisfail High School? And
Yeah, I think it was a good experience. They had a number of employers. I think they hope to grow it, but NWP, Crossroads Gas, Field and Forge, Whitewater Resources, there was quite a number. Red Deer Polytechnic was there, Day Dental, Innisfail Chrysler, there was quite a few. So, and a lot of the kids were quite engaged. I think we got some good feedback even in terms of how we can help encourage, particularly with the pool and those training programs, and what sort of more creative ways we could get some kids that want to participate, that maybe the training is a barrier on the cost to that training. So yeah.
great. No, thanks for going. Just remind everybody that May 31st is the Healthcare Career Day at Innisfail High School as well. So if you want to stop by, please do. And we'll be on for most of the day at Innisfail High School, and things are all organized and ready to go for that. No, not asking. No. Anybody else want to say anything? Or no?
I have one more.
Oh, sorry.
Mayor Barclay. So actually, we do have one more. May 31st, John Mandeville actually has sponsored a tree planting for Earth Day. So they've asked us to get involved with an area. We're going to be just west of the cemetery where the old snow dump was. We have two, I think they're grade 6 classes, will be doing the plantings. So they've worked and organized that with the two schools. So I think we have over 50 kids coming to plant trees.
Okay,
On
well,
May
that's awesome.
31st, so.
Yeah, enjoy. What time is that, Director Kennedy?
It starts at 11:30
Okay, and goes till
they're done.
they're done. I hope you're providing a lunch, or somebody is. All right, sounds good. And we'll just have take a look at upcoming events then. Have a motion, please, to accept this as information.
Mayor Barkley, I would move that we accept upcoming events for information.
All right, thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. Then we'll have a motion to go in camera.
Berkeley, I'll make the motion that we go in camera.
Okay, thanks. All in favor? Okay, carried.